U.S. finalizes Ukraine minerals deal.
EU summit divided on several important issues.
Potential growth of Nghệ An's industrial real estate market.
Hello, so good to see you again. I am Hoang Yên, and here we go, the first headline of the show. The U.S. and Ukraine are approaching a historic mineral agreement, marking a significant step in the economic and strategic relationship between the two countries.
This information was released by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who stated that Washington has finalized a mineral agreement with Ukraine and sent the complete document to Ukrainian President Zelensky. The document is currently under review by the Ukrainian side. It is anticipated that the two sides will conduct full discussions and may sign the agreement next week. This agreement is expected to establish a fund where Ukraine will contribute 50% of the revenue from the exploitation of state-owned resources, including oil, gas, and logistics infrastructure. The signing of the deal was previously postponed due to a confrontation between President Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House on February 28, 2025. The two sides resumed negotiations at a meeting in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on March 11. This agreement is expected to bring great benefits to both sides.
The summit of nearly 30 European countries on security guarantees for Ukraine just ended with divisions on several issues, including the important goal of deploying European security force to Ukraine.
At the summit, French President Emmanuel Macron affirmed that France and Britain would continue to push forward the plan of deploying troops in Ukraine to protect a peace agreement and prevent the risk of Russian re-aggression. However, many other countries expressed caution, some requiring guarantees from the U.S. before making a decision, some even opposing the plan. Despite the division on troop deployment, EU leaders agreed on the need to increase sanctions against Russia to force Moscow to engage in good faith negotiations. The summit also discussed the possibility of using frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine. But no final decision was made. The EU's €40 billion aid package was also cancelled at the last minute, highlighting the difficulties in unifying European policy towards Ukraine.
Brazilian President Lula da Silva is on a state visit to Vietnam from March 27 to 29, 2025. This is his second visit after 17 years and the first state visit by a foreign leader to Vietnam in 2025, opening up a new chapter for Vietnam-Brazil relations.
The visit takes place amidst the positive development of the strategic partnership between Vietnam and Brazil. The two countries established diplomatic relations in 1989 and have continuously strengthened their relationship through bilateral and multilateral cooperation mechanisms. Brazil is currently Vietnam's largest trading partner in Latin America, with bilateral trade reaching nearly $8 billion in 2024. The two countries have significant potential to enhance cooperation in trade, agriculture, energy, science and technology, and climate change response. President Lula da Silva's visit demonstrates the determination of both countries to further promote and deepen their friendly and cooperative relations. This is a crucial step, opening a new chapter in the strategic partnership between Vietnam and Brazil, for the benefit of both peoples and for regional and global peace and stability.
Upcoming are some updated news.
According to the Information Center for Industry and Trade, under the Ministry of Industry and Trade, in the first 2 months of 2025, the export turnover of Vietnam's phone and components of all kinds reached over $9.2 billion. In February alone, exports reached nearly $4.4 billion, down 9.2% from the previous month but up 11.7% from the same period last year. In the past 2 months, Vietnam has exported the most phones and components to the U.S. market, reaching nearly $2.2 billion. Following the U.S., the Chinese market reached over $1.45 billion.
Nghệ Provincial People's Committee held a ceremony to commemorate the 90th anniversary of the establishment of the Militia and Self-Defense Forces, March 28, 1935 March 28, 2025. The force's origins trace back to the Nghệ Soviet movement, which expanded to become a core element in the struggles against colonial and feudal forces, protecting the people and revolutionary officials. This force was also a key part in the August 1945 uprising to seize power in Nghệ. Over 90 years of construction, combat and growth, the militia and self-defense forces have excellently completed their tasks, both laboring in production and being ready for combat, contributing significantly to the nation's defense and construction.
The Ministry of Construction proposes to expand the more than 1,160 kilometers north-south expressway from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City to a 6-lane scale. Following 20 days of construction, the first phase of the expansion from 4 to 6 lanes has been initiated across 11 construction sites. This early expansion will leverage existing equipment and materials from ongoing projects, potentially reducing total investment costs by 20 to 30%. Furthermore, expanding the expressway will create millions of jobs and stimulate production in many sectors, contributing to the goal of achieving a growth rate of 8% or more this year.
Industrial real estate is currently considered as the most promising segment of the market, with numerous projects covering hundreds of hectares being approved throughout the country. The industrial real estate sector in Nghệ An is also becoming a hot topic, attracting the attention of both domestic and foreign investors. More in today's story.
Immediately after the operation of the Sunny Automotive Project, which has a total investment of $150 million over an area of 43 hectares in Hua Industrial Zone 1, Sunny Group is looking to expand its investments in Nghệ.
The local government shows great interest in investors. Administrative procedures have been simplified and support levels are high. Hua Industrial Zone's infrastructure is well developed, rapidly meeting the production and business needs. So Sunny plans to build 3 new subsidiaries in Vietnam and expand its industrial land lease area in Nghệ and to build more factories.
Not only large enterprises and FDI investors, many small and medium-sized enterprises, particularly young and startup businesses, are also seeking lease space for investment and production.
For manufacturing enterprises like us, land is a big concern. The best land fund is from 1,000 to 3,000 meters, suitable for the production process as well as business activities of small and medium enterprises.
To attract foreign investment and meet local companies' land leasing needs, Nghệ is working hard to draw investments in industrial cluster infrastructure. The province is also focusing on attracting and collaborating with 3 strategic infrastructure investors, V-Ship, Hua, and Hoang Tin Dat, to expedite land clearance processes and quickly build new industrial zones with synchronized infrastructure towards green transformation.
In general, in Vietnam,
the industrial real estate market in Vietnam is growing rapidly, especially in Nghệ, which has considerable potential. Thus, we are continuing to develop our industrial zones in Nghệ and based on eco-smart industrial zone designs to meet manufacturers' needs.
Nghệ currently has 6 industrial zones ready to meet investor land leasing needs. This year, Nghệ is expected to have additional land from V-Ship 3, Nha Dan Industrial Park, Dean Queen Industrial Park, and several other industrial clusters with synchronized infrastructure to attract investments and meet businesses' land leasing needs.
The last story to end our program today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye and see you later.